You were talking about Jersey City going tall 30 some years ago.
Yeah, because of our location, I've always believed that we are truly Wall Street West, another borough, another part of Manhattan. It was mentioned yesterday about Jersey City and Brooklyn in this sort of the same sentences. And it's true, we are sort of like that other borough. But we're Jersey City, we're New Jersey, we're unique. But I believe that given our transit system, we have a subway system that connects us into New York City, we needed to build tall buildings. And so when I started writing redevelopment plans in the early 80s for the waterfront area that had been rail yards, I put in numbers like 800 feet tall, and people thought I was crazy. So how are we going to get that kind of building in business, and who wants to do that? So they may not want to do it now, but trust me, they will. And they did, they came.
How long did that take until they did come?
Well, I think the beginning of this sort of new life, new economy for Jersey City came with Bankers Trust of New York coming in 1983, 84. They wanted to have redundancy, so they were building in Long Island City, and they also wanted to go to Jersey City, and that was because back then they needed line of sight redundancy, so they were transmitting microwaves.
Right.
So they had to be within sight of a building in Jersey City, right? So they came in, they didn't do high-rise, but they did a major office renovation of an old refrigerated warehouse, believe it or not, into a high-tech office space. And that sort of made us real because we had the Bank of New York coming to Jersey City. It encouraged others to come, and we began building tall buildings in the late 80s.
So what's the state of Jersey City now, and what's the future? What's the challenge here now that this has been pretty established as, like you said, in some senses another borough?
Well, it's to continue the progress. We're actually trying to get another office building. We haven't done one of those in a while. There was a period of time when we were building almost as many square feet as New York. They had 8.5 million, we had 8 million under construction, which was a phenomenal number for a town with only 10 million square feet at that time versus New York's 400 million. They're 40 times larger than us, but we're almost on pace with them. One more building we would have been in front of New York in terms of, and that's all 5 boroughs we're talking about. We've moved into a residential mode, and our towers are getting taller and taller. China Overseas has got approval now for a building that'll be almost 900 feet tall, 889. And we're encouraging that. We would go 1,000, that's fine with us. I think we'll continue to see that the tallest building is now under construction is 713 feet. I think we'll continue to see it ratchet up because everybody wants to be the tallest, the tallest, the tallest. It's competition.
Yeah,
it's
and
good.
I was going to ask you, did you ever feel like you were in competition directly with New York, or was it collaborative? And is this, I mean, if so, taking on New York from a real estate perspective would seem like a fool's errand, but I guess it paid off.
I think we're in competition with New York, and they certainly don't want to lose their business. I remember one mayor of New York, Ed Koch, in a billboard commercial where he was boarding up the Holland Tunnel, standing in front of it saying, "Don't go west, young man." The companies are going to do what they think is best for their bottom line. And so we offer a lot, not only a great view of New York from our buildings, but also the economics. The grid is cheaper, the electricity, the taxes, the construction. There's a whole bunch of things in Jersey City that are easier and cheaper than doing in New York. So you need to have a central location, and that's what Manhattan does. But we're sort of an adjunct with that, and we work very well with New York City's businesses. They have offices there, they have offices in Jersey City too.
So it doesn't become like a race to the bottom or anything? I mean, what's the end result here?
The end result is prosperity for the region, which is really where we're at. The health of the New York metro region is essential. And sometimes things get overheated in New York. We're sort of the safety valve. So they can blow off and come here rather than go to Kansas City or someplace and we lose those jobs in the region. It's important to keep them here in this New Jersey region.
So from a design perspective, or let's say maybe from a use perspective, how do you make sure that there's the right kind of programs balanced, that there's enough hotel, retail, commercial, residential, and what's the outlook like that for that now?
We have used the redevelopment planning process very effectively. We actually have 92 redevelopment plans in Jersey City in addition to our one zoning ordinance. About half the city is covered by redevelopment plans. We actually did the first redevelopment project in the country in 1952, right in back of City Hall.
What project was that?
It was called Gregory Park. It was the first 3 middle-class high-rises built in the city. Basically, through our zoning code or our redevelopment plan code, same thing. We require certain things like a mix of hotels and office and residential. We require a ground floor retail in our code so that we animate the street. So we get these things because we actually put in the law. You can, we need a mix. You can only build so many square feet of office space, and then you have to build some residential. And it has worked quite well. I think the best example is the Newport project, which the Lefrak Group and Newport Associates have done, which is a combination shopping mall, apartments, offices, ground floor retail, all on top of a subway station.
How about Jersey City's neighbors in New Jersey, Hoboken and other cities in the region? Are you in competition with them? Do you see this trend of the safety valve going past Jersey City, or is Jersey City a special case?
Well, in many ways, we are a special case, and it's largely because of our location.
Just being right on the Hudson.
Being right on the Hudson, you can look across, you can be there in 3 minutes from our subway stations. The sort of safety valve is not so much overpopulation as it's overpricing. So some of the uses like the Arts District, which we created 20 years ago, the artists can't really afford as the prices ratchet up per square foot. They couldn't afford it. The market was pushing and pushing, and it actually jumped out to the suburban urban areas of New Jersey, like the city of Orange and the Valley. It's a couple train stops away. But the prices were a tenth of what they were in Jersey City. So a whole arts community sort of moved to Orange, and also Newark, the biggest city in New Jersey, soon to be eclipsed by us. We will be the biggest city in New Jersey, if not this week, certainly in a year or two.
So at the biggest city in New Jersey, that's a perfect segue to my next question, which was going to be, are most people living in Jersey City commuting into Manhattan coming back, or are you seeing the reverse too, of people living in New York commuting to Jersey City to work and coming back?
There certainly is a two-way flow now. In the old days, the subways would come in from New York and they'd be empty.
Yeah.
They'd get crowded and you'd get everyone going into New York. But with almost 20 million square feet of Class A office space built in the last 25 years, we've got lots of people coming in from the city of New York, the boroughs, as well as Manhattan. And the flow is almost equal. And when you get to the subways, who's getting off at the Exchange Place station, which is the heart of the financial district. And then, of course, there's the people from the suburbs coming in for the jobs, not only in Manhattan, but in Jersey City as well.
You mentioned the train at several points. Transportation, obviously critical to Jersey City's continued development. What do you think needs to change or happen? What should be, when we think of aging infrastructure, that could really hurt Jersey City's long-term planning?
Yeah. We were lucky to get a light rail system installed in 2000, and we're continuing to grow it, extend it further to the other side of Jersey City is the primary goal right now is to get an extra kilometer of track and a new station on the west, because we have two waterfronts, and the western waterfront's undeveloped. So that's an area where we want to continue growth. We also, I'm a big advocate of bringing in the number 7 subway, which comes in New York and goes right past here.
Stops at Hudson Yards now, right?
Yeah, we want it to continue. We like to take it down the 14th Street so it could connect into the L, get you to Brooklyn. And then we take it under the Hudson River to Hoboken Terminal, where we can provide right-of-way that the New Jersey Transit Corporation owns to send the train out to the Lautenberg Station, which is on the northeast corridor. And if we could even take it as far as the Meadowlands, where the football Giants and Jets play, connect that Meadowlands sports complex to the one in Flushing Meadow where the New York Mets play, with Times Square in the middle, that equals the Olympics. So if New York wants an Olympics, we have a solution. Bring the number 7 to New Jersey.